The project was really sold, and this is me, on my soapbox here. The project was sold as this way to improve this neighborhood and make opportunities for kids and families. And the reality was it was a real estate deal. And cool, you know a lot about what happened over there with Edward Berry and some of the folks, but it was a real estate deal. So they while the portion of the grant, it was like a $30 million grant over 5 years, and $1.3 million of that was allocated to education. So that's not making a statement to say they're committed to change from an education perspective. And it made it, what I did was I managed the Cradle to Career Collaborative. So starting with early learning and pre-K programs all the way up to high school and post-secondary studies. But I managed a collaborative of partners, public schools, with the idea of making improvements for young people and for families. And did that for a while, started working on other place-based initiatives like that. And then one of my partners on the collaborative was Usher's New Look. So I was the funder for their programming. They helped deal with students in the middle school and high school spaces. Got really cool with the CEO, and I guess maybe just December of last year, she pulled me aside and said, "Hey, I'm really trying to expand the organization. I'd love to have you on board. Would you consider?" At the time, I was kind of like, I don't know. But, I gave it some thought, man. And the conversations picked up again in February. March, we started talking, and I made the decision to leap right as COVID hit, man. So it was a wild time to make the transition, but I'm glad I did it, man. I've really been enjoying the experience. I've been working as a partner to the organization for years, so very familiar with what we do. So it was a smooth transition for me. And then it got me back to working with young people, which is my true passion. So I know I went all around the world, but I just wanted to give you just an understanding. Like a lot of times we know each other, but we don't talk about who we are and like what we do. And I'm gonna get to why that's important later, but I think some of y'all know. I know Crump, Lou, Cool, y'all know, because I mean, y'all, I talk to y'all and I see y'all, and y'all been with me along this way. But I mean, I see Chuck, Carl B, I see y'all all the time, but we don't really talk about what we do. So I'm very intentional now.
I was about to say this is a damn good story, and I'm the one to be like, man, they should cut that shit short. This is a good ass story, dog.
Yeah,
man.
I would watch this again.
I appreciate it, man. I'm blessed, man. I mean,
great story, man. And you absolutely right about that, man. People get together. We always see each other on social, and it's laughs and jokes and stuff, but we never sit down. And maybe sometimes we need to sit down and have that cup of coffee and breakfast and have good, good conversations.
Yeah, because I don't drink anymore. We ain't have coffee or something. You know what I'm saying? See the water, ain't no more red stripes. See that?
Hey, well, shoot, man. Jeff, man, explain the importance of youth development programming in what you do, man. What is that?
So, one of the things I was trying to touch on was I'm very big on aligning your passion and your purpose. I think you move like most effectively when those two things align. Work feels different, right? When it's something that you care about and it's something that you feel like you're destined to do. Youth development is critically important because there's so many lessons that we as young people don't get from the classroom, right? There are lessons that we learn from our friends or some older cats. Like, I remember coming into Morehouse as a freshman, and Crump was out of this group of folks. Crump was the first person I met. I met Crump my senior year at a Morehouse alumni picnic. My homeboy Derek Leak, shout out to D Leak, introduced me and Crump, and man, we've been tight ever since. But brothers like that, I remember asking you guys, all right, which teachers do I take? Like, who got the ad slips? You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to get in this class, like, and learning like little things like that help you to make strides, right? It's lessons hard lessons you may not have to learn so that you can be efficient and effective. So for me, youth development is really about that holistic approach at bettering people. It's helping young people to kind of have information that they need to make critical decisions that influences where they go. And more important, it's very I say it's critically important that brothers like us at this stage in our lives really start using our influence in the youth development space. And I know that can be a challenge when you don't really know how you want to do it, or you don't have a direct entry into working with young people. But that's where I consider someone like myself or other people in the space to help all of us figure this out. You know, I want to be a conduit to opportunity. So, you know, folks who are in the law space, you know, Crump, remember when you were down here, we were at Lou's house, we talked about your dad's program, you know, and how important that's been for young people that are taking that walk in the law space. That's about youth development. That's an example, you know. So yeah, you know, for me, it's a way of giving back. It's supplemental education that people need to have. And it's about building these networks. You know, I'm not one to say like the white man's ice is colder, but what I will say in a lot of instances is that in a lot of regards, they figure out how to create pathways or systems that work so that young people can advance and get those opportunities, right? And I think we have to figure out how do we do some semblance of that so that we can make sure that our young people are able to leapfrog these pile of applicants and have direction as they're trying to navigate these educational and career pathways.
I mean, it's just like that story that you said with the white guy. His grandfather gave him $1 million and told his friends
and
to
drop something on it. Yeah.
You know, so
that's a hell of a head start, man.
Exactly. Because I think us right here, we could do that.
Yeah.
We can do that. Cool son, get a job.
I say cool can do that shit. Crump can do that shit. You know? So I'm a wage earner. You know what I'm saying?
For now, Carby. For now,
I barely made it to one counter, man. I barely made it over here.
Man, get out of here, Carby. But Jeff, man, first of all, man, thank you for coming on the podcast, man, and sharing with us, man. And like you said, man, I've known you a long time, man, and I've just kind of watched it kind of as you have evolved. And man, it's funny to me, even back in the day, man, even at B school, you always had a love for kids, man. I mean, with kids, you would just light up, and that passion, man. I'm first of all, I'm proud of you, man. I'm glad you're in this space, and you know, we want to assist and help you do great things. You know, whatever we can do. You know, we're only a phone call away. But my question for you, man, with the Usher new look, tell me about the plan, you know, the 2-year plan. What does that look like?
Yeah. Okay. So we, you know, when you talk about what we do, you know, our aim is to build what we call passion-driven global leaders. And those words are intentional. You know, I talked about the importance of having passion as your driving force. And, you know, we want young people to think globally. Just thinking about your local area or your state or your region is very limiting. You know, I think I through that story about Mexico for me, because I grew up in Baltimore, so the extent of my travels was from Virginia to say like New York for most of my life. I came to Atlanta for the first time when my older cousin, who's like my older brother, came to Morehouse in '85. And I think I was in 7th grade at the time. And Atlanta for me was so different. I remember saying to him, like, dude, why you want to be here? Like, what is it about this? But each year he would come, or each time he would come home, like for Thanksgiving or whatever, and he would talk with these stories about Morehouse and all these different people. It opened up my mind to new possibilities. And I'll never forget, like, freshman week, just meeting all these different brothers from different places. You know, I'd never been to California, man. And my man Shakir, rest in peace, Shake lived he lived across the hall and one door to the left, Shake and Dana. And
that's how we met.
Like, yeah, that's how I know you, Chuck. Yeah. And funny story about Chuck, man. Freshman week, y'all remember freshman week? We had these itinerary where we had to be up at like 7, 8. Mm-hmm. You had to go do this stuff. I remember everybody hustling out, and we get back, and my man Shake is like red-eyed, still in his pajamas, just waking up at like 10, 11 o'clock. We're like, dude, what you doing? He's like, oh, man, I was kicking it with the homies. It was Nick, Chuck, all the Oakland boys had him out, you know, in the fast lane.
Hubert Hall first floor, baby. Yeah, Hubert Hall Mafia.
But just saying all to say, man, it was just about expanding your horizons and thinking beyond where you are. So the global piece is critical because we live in a global market, right?
That's right.
There's so much happening. And then with the internet, you're able to touch people all around the world. So